Even before I became a psychiatrist, I have always been fascinated by human connection. What makes us connect with others and what makes us disconnect? All of us at some point have been on a plane when we have just settled into our novel, we're listening to music or getting our work done, when suddenly the air is pierced by the sound of a shrieking baby. Now, I have watched all kinds of reactions to this, from the very sympathetic look toward the parents, to people who look mildly annoyed or even frustrated, to others literally racing each other to the one empty seat at the front of the plane to get away from this noise. But on a recent trip to the West Coast, I saw the most amazing reaction of all. A little 3-year-old boy wiggled out of his seat, toddled over to that screaming baby, and offered him his own pacifier. Wow, I thought, now that little boy really heard and felt that baby's distress. And isn't that what all of us want? To be seen and heard and to have our needs responded to. That's the essence of empathy.
Hi there guys, Megan and I'm JC. Now a lot of people in my video noticed how I mentioned the Akashic records, and I know that people are going to want me to expand on that. And I was thinking the other day as I was lying in bed, why not? You know, because I did leave out tons of information, and there is something that I want to tell you guys about empaths and how we can relate to the Akashic records and how we can actually use the Akashic records and how we're actually more privy to using the Akashic records to manipulate our reality and to access more functionality when it comes to the experiences within our day in and day out lives. Now here's the thing, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting, is that pretty much everyone is an empath. Now this is how it works. We all know about bioelectricity, how you put a current through something and it creates an electromagnetic field. Okay, now think about this for a second. If your body is firing off electrons, bioelectrical frequencies within your body, and it takes roughly around about 5 to 6 seconds for a whole litre of blood to move from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Okay, so that's one circuit. And if these electrons are going through your cells in your nervous system and it's creating this circuit, then technically you're going to have a bioelectrical field. Now, empaths are people who can pick up on other people's bioelectrical fields. They can pick up on it, and they can also pick up on it in other living things. Now, how is this? Well, if bioelectricity, the electromagnetic field of an individual or a living celled organism, is nothing more than the electricity which is passing through the organism, then technically that means your thoughts can exist outside of your body, because your thoughts are bioelectrical in nature, okay? They exist within the nervous system of the brain. So when you've ever looked at somebody across the street and you're staring daggers at the back of their head and they turn around almost instantly, it makes you wonder just how far your reach can actually reach. Now, by the way, just while I'm making this video, I want you to excuse the fact that my hair may be dripping wet because I just got out the shower, which is why I'm wearing blue. Because whenever I get really wet, I come out of the shower and I just put on the blue stuff. Makes me feel good. I normally have a blue light in the background, but not today. And I want you to excuse my brother, who may be singing terribly to Celine Dion downstairs in the kitchen while he's cooking. But all that distractions aside, I want you guys to focus on what I'm about to say now, because this is actually quite important when it comes to what the Akashic Records actually is. A lot of people want to say that the Akashic Records are libraries. A lot of people want to say that the Akashic Records are books. And a lot of people want to say that it goes beyond that. And you know, you're all right, you're all true. And I'm going to tell you how I know the Akashic Records from my own experience, okay? I want you to listen to my own experience and see if you can relate. I want you to listen to my experience and at least open your awareness of the possibility of how this stuff actually works, okay? So I'm going to first break it down to you like this. In the first basic, simple structure of the Akashic Records, okay? I explained it in my last video like this, and this is just a quick recap. Imagine, don't imagine, just think about Wi-Fi's. Everyone's got Wi-Fi hubs within their rooms, right? Probably everybody understands that. You can try this out as well, by the way, after this video or during this video. Put on your microwave, if you've got one in your house. put one on and then watch the download speed of your videos or the stream speed of the videos on your computer or laptop or even on your mobile device, okay? What will happen is it will go incredibly slow. Like if it's going to stop and it's going to take ages to download, especially if you're downloading stuff, I advise you to unplug the microwave and take out the fuse so no one can use it because it's just going to ruin your downloads, okay? The reason for this is because microwaves are emitting out of your microwave and it's interfering with the same microwaves which are being emitted from the Wi-Fi signals. Now that is a massive distance, especially seeing as the Wi-Fi box is so small, okay? So throughout the Wi-Fi, throughout your device hub, it's sending out electrical signals or radio waves of information, which are bouncing to your computer, which are bouncing to other people's computers who are watching the same video all over the globe, you know, all the viral videos, you name it. It's also bouncing to your skybox. It's bouncing to the satellites out in space and to the antennas that are grounded down into the earth on the far away fields, okay? That's a big system, that's a big Wi-Fi system, and a lot of people are even able to pick up on these hotspots in cafes and in the middle of town, okay? Now these radio waves are transmitting thought. They're transmitting energy, they're transmitting frequencies of pictures, audios, and videos, okay? Also data streams, that, you know, 1, 0 binary codes, a lot of complex encrypted stuff. But on top of that, once you get out of the ethers of the Wi-Fi, you realize that once it comes to be within a structural device that's able to record the information being submitted or being taken from the Wi-Fi signal, you realize that it's able to create a picture, it's able to create images and stuff like that, okay? It's almost as if you're looking at the Akashic records by looking at the videos of individual people's lives on the screen. So it's like it's a third-dimensional representation of the Akashic records, and you've got it in your hand, on your phone, and on the screen. Now, it doesn't just stop there, because the reason why I'm relating to a tiny little Wi-Fi hub box, or Wi-Fi box, which my mum wants to call it, the physical body is much like the Wi-Fi box, or the Wi-Fi box, alright? The physical body emits these bioelectrical signals just like the Wi-Fi box. And why shouldn't it? If it's got its own electrical magnetic sphere, which is transferring energy, electrical signals, which are coming into the body and out of the body, including images, thoughts, and even behaviors, because the physical body is a lot more complex than the computers. Behavior, you can transmit a behavioral thought or pattern within your bioelectrical frequency, put it outside the body, and then people can walk into the room and just tell that an argument's happened, okay? The Akashic records, this is another side to it, the emotional side to it. You can manipulate events just by pushing emotion within a room. You can manipulate the way a person's going to speak by emitting a particular type of energy within the room. Their body's going to pick it up straight away. They may not be conscious of it, but their body will pick it up straight away, okay guys? Now, if you're really good at this, and you're really in tune with your bioelectrical sphere, you can plug into other people's bioelectrical sphere. And when you take their energy, coupled with the emotional energy that you want to emit in order to make them behave a particular way, if your third eye is active and clear to receive the signals within your bioelectrical sphere, you're going to be able to see and predict premonitions of how they're going to behave based on past experiences with other people in this experiment that you've probably done, or you will do after this video. And even further than that, you can already tell how they're thinking that they're going to behave because you're plugged into their bioelectrical system, their bioelectrical sphere, okay? Which means you're going to be picking up on their thoughts, and you're going to start seeing images and flashes of their thoughts of what they're going to think or behave to do. And you can manipulate and steer their thinking patterns by emitting a different type of frequency. This is an aspect of the Akashic records because you're seeing the records of the series of events within a person's experience that they're going to bring to fruition. Not just that person, but any other person, crowds of people, you name it. Here's the other thing, guys. If you're sweating, if you're clammy, if you're going to speak to an entire school of people and you're freaking out because you're imagining things going bad, guess what's going to happen? Your bioelectrical sphere is going to vibrate at a certain frequency, which is going to make you behave a particular way, which is going to make that thing come to fruition. And if your bioelectrical sphere is going huge and going on a rampage because your heart's beating out of your chest, okay, which is revving up the bioelectrical signals within the body, it's going to expand throughout the entire hall, and people are going to start looking at you weird. You know, they're going to start looking at you weird because you're going to think that they're going to want to look at you weird because you're imagining them looking at you weird. So you're manipulating the bioelectrical frequencies of everybody in the room just by thinking about it, and it's kind of cool that way also. So you can also then predict of everyone else what's going to happen within the possible realities. Now, each possible reality does come to fruition. Each possible reality is real and it does exist at a specific point of time. Just came to my head, there are 3 levels to the Akashic records, okay? That one that I just told you is the ethers, the Ethernet, okay? The Ethernet, or the ether Wi-Fi of the physical body. Wi-Fi of the physical body, right? And the ethers also expand to an even more greater level, because if you can plug into the collective consciousness of the Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, you can tell how people are thinking, and you can tell how their thinking patterns are going to generate certain outcomes and events within their individual lives. Now you're getting to the point where you can sit there in your room and tap into somebody else's frequency, much like phoning them, and watch their series of events before they've even made it, because they're thinking about it, or they're going to think about something or a pattern of frequency which is going to bring about particular other thoughts or form of thoughts, which are going to have a domino effect to the point where you can actually watch their entire lives from now to a month, or from now to a year, from now to 10 years, and you can watch the directions in which the lives can go at. You know, because there's never one direction in which someone's life can perform or someone's life can exist, okay? So you can watch multiple realities of other people's lives just by watching the way that they're thinking through the Wi-Fi or the Ethernet, okay? So that's going to tap into more records of experience which you can tell of other people. You can also tap into how the entire planet is going to be vibrating on a particular type of frequency. You can scan back and look at the entire network and tell how certain events are going to take place. You're going to start seeing visions and audio responses in your pineal gland of particular outcomes which are going to happen on a global scale. You can even tap into the bioelectrical signals of the entire Earth and figure out how it's going to behave when it comes to the movements, where the pressure is built up more, how the consciousness of the collective is altering the water within the atmosphere, which is altering the cloud systems, which is altering the weather, which is altering the seas, which is creating these disasters. You can start manipulating and seeing the future events or the future probable events of every single being or life form on this planet. Okay? And you can even go backwards. You can scan the frequencies and you can figure out if it's used to the type of frequency that it's vibrating on already, and if it's already made this loop of frequency before, okay? So that's the Ethernet, the Wi-Fi ethers of the Akashic records, okay? Now it goes even deeper than that on two levels, and I've only got 11 minutes to speak about this. You've got the mental plane, which is kind of like the ethers, only when it comes to manipulating reality within the Akashic records, the ether is slightly different to the mental. Mental is, you think of a thought, okay? You start speaking inside your mind, you know? You start speaking inside your mind, oh, maybe she won't like me, or maybe I shouldn't go up there and talk, or maybe if I say the wrong thing, they could look at me the wrong way, or maybe I should wear this because it feels like if I wear this, I can fit in, you know? The typical anxiety type matrix thought patterns, you know, of wanting to be accepted in society, which is pretty messed up. When you think these words without thinking the images to take the place of the words, that is mental. This is to do with the mental, okay? And the mental can get projected outside the body also. And it can also get picked up on other people. In a sense, this can create a thought form. Because if you're constantly feeding energy to an aspect of your consciousness which is saying how you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, if you've got a positive thought form or a negative thought form, then the bioelectrical signals, which can be filtered out into your electromagnetic field, will jump. And this aspect of consciousness will jump to another person. This is when you're getting into kind of telepathy. I can sit there and plug into the collective and I'll have a whole bunch of thoughts of people's doubts, fears, worries just popping into my head. I've had people saying things about their kids, about how they're not turning off the television and all this random stuff. And people think that their thoughts are hidden. They think that their thoughts are protected from the mainstream, but it's not. When you've got people like me who can do this, and I've seen you guys, because I've seen you on my Facebook. If you want to add me to Facebook, by the way, you can go in the description below and click on the link. So this is the mental side of things. If you start pushing out mental thoughts, you can see how the mental thoughts are going to create energy within the ethers, which are then going to create a physical representation or a physical manifestation of an idea or thought through the ethers as people start to play on the mental and start envisioning how they think that things are going to happen within the mental or the ethereal realm within their mind. Now, for you guys who are interested in astral projection, which is pretty cool, this is how most people think the Akashic record is, which is like a library of sorts. I figured this bit out with the astral projection when I was around about 17. That's when I was really heavily involved in astral projection. That's before I started teaching it online. And this is pretty cool because the ethers and the mentals, the thought forms in the mentals, which pick up pace in the ethers and with the collective consciousness can manifest energy within the astral realms. Which means an entire group of people. You probably only need like 10 people. There are people out there like me who can do it on their own, where we can create a thought form within the astral realm. Okay? Why am I talking about this? What's it got to do with the Akashic records? Well, if the Akashic records are probabilities of events, and the ethers and the mentals planes are creating these events, then they're obviously going to create a realm of existence where these things are already playing out. This realm is the astrals. When you pop out the body, you can go into these realms of thought where you're seeing probable futures and you're literally living it as if you're getting the first taster before you actually manifest it within the third dimension. Also, it goes beyond that. You can astral project into probable realities or into alternate realities. And now an alternate reality is a reality where things took a different turn, a different direction. This can be at any point of space and time, right? Now to rewind it back, when you astral project out of your body, you are basically light. You're not bound to your physical body, therefore you can travel through the ethernet, or you can travel multi-dimensionally through different points of space where these Wi-Fi connections already exist, okay? Because the Wi-Fi isn't just a straight signal. It's like you got from one computer to your phone to the other, okay? Nowadays they're actually looking on quantum computing, which is something like dimensions of calculations within computers. It's literally like what our bodies are already doing within the astral plane when you travel to these alternate dimensions. Only they're doing it with computers, which is going to make computers vastly more intelligent, which is pretty astounding. I suggest you guys look that up, quantum computing. They've only recently started doing it, or at least basically building up theories about how that may go about. But with the astral realms, if you choose to drink orange juice instead of hot chocolate, there's going to be two realms that exist, no matter what. You're going to exist, your consciousness is going to be focused like a lens in the plane of existence that you chose to exist in when you chose to drink the hot chocolate rather than drinking the orange juice, or when you chose to drink the orange juice rather than drinking the hot chocolate. It doesn't mean that only one exists, they both exist, okay? There are drastic changes within the development of mankind. There are drastic changes within the development of other planets, of other solar systems, which exist in other realms. There are other realms where the planet didn't get formed. There are other realms where life took a progression on other planets. And there are other dimensions where these planets have extraterrestrials on them. And they're using the extraterrestrial technology to go through one dimension to another here, you know? Like, say, for example, if there are people living on the moon, let's just say, for example, there are extraterrestrials on the moon. But from this dimension, you couldn't see them. They could come through using their technology if they already existed on the moon in another dimension and find us here in this dimension on this Earth. Whereas on their dimension, Earth may be barren, but you'd never know. So that's just one way of doing it. Now, There are light beings, there are astral dimensions which aren't even comprised of this dense matter or this dense light, where beings exist. I've talked about this on other videos when it comes to astral projection. The Akashic Records basically explains it the way I've just explained it, which is the way that I see it through my own experience. You can get images, you don't have to travel to these places, you can get images from different points of space in the Akashic library of thoughts and manifestation of how things are actually manifested into the experience of everybody's life. Just by sat there in your chair, you can see the visions if your third eye is open. I will make a video on that soon. 3 minutes left. The reason why I say that the ethers or the empaths are the, I guess you can say, original overseers of the Akashic Records is because at young age we think it's a curse at first, because we seem to think that everybody's attacking us, but really when you get older and you start to see other people's souls, you look at them and you can tell, if you're open to the Akashic Records, you can look at a person and you can see their soul and you can see what's around their soul. You can see the energies they're filtering through. You can see their Akashic record of their past and their future. And you can see the events that they're probably going to take and they're probably not going to take, or they're probably already taken. And you can generally find out what that type of person is about. Then you start to understand how their life has become a particular way. Compassion sets in as you feel sorry for the person for not knowing what you know. You look at the person and you may think you're intruding, but are you intruding? If everything is all the same and you're all aspects of the same consciousness, you're just having an illusionary individual experience to experience other versions of yourself. Technically, every memory that you're seeing is yours. So I'm writing JC, that's going to be about do it on the ethers, and I'm glad I managed to get all of that out. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, I'll put it in other videos. I've only got 2 minutes 36 seconds left. And yeah, I think that's going to do. So I'm Ryan JC, I'll speak to you guys pretty soon.